Rewind the tape. Okay, that was really bad.
Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode of Wait, Rewind the Tape with me, Natalie.
I love that. Me, Ruth. Me, Ruth.
Thank you. Just trying to mix up the intros, you know? Trying to get there quicker, be a bit snappier.
Here I am slowing you down.
Here I am slowing me down by explaining my my method. I think let's just get straight into it because we've had a load of audio issues, guys. You don't need to know this because you weren't there for it, but suffice it to say, we've been trying to get set up for more than half an hour, so we're ready to go. This week, potentially more than any other week, I feel has highlighted our absolute thirst, need, love, dangerous, silly, obsession with chaos.
Yeah.
With chaos.
Chaos and mess.
Yeah, because that's what I just watched.
That was honestly, this is going to sound nuts, but of all the things we've watched, that's arguably the best thing that I've seen, because everything happened. Everything that, so listeners, we're watching America's Next Top Model, but we originally wanted to watch episode 3 of cycle 3, which I still think is the greatest cycle of America's Next
episode 3, for those who don't know, is always the makeover episode. So,
which I also thought was episode 2. I didn't realize it was episode 3.
Yeah, because they wanted, episode 1 is kind of selection, isn't it? Yeah, and then you need, not everybody gets the chance for the makeover, but they need enough girls to make it, to make sure that somebody isn't happy.
Yeah. Oh, and disclosure, I'm saying whatever flies to my mind in this episode, so if the show's a mess, my comments will probably be a mess too.
It's reflective of, absolutely. Yeah. So we were going to watch season 3, but God, we could not find that for love nor money.
No, in the UK, they've basically I'm guessing they're in between deals because they've scraped it from the internet. And you can tell that whoever owns or whoever was in charge of or did seasons, I think cycles 1 to 6 is got them on lock and key.
You ain't getting them in the UK.
Yeah.
We can't pay for them. We can't exchange good hard cash.
You literally would have to buy a DVD, which I'm not going to lie, if I'd known earlier, I would have bought.
That would have not been helpful to me. I would have had to buy a VHS because, I've got a VHS player on account of this podcast originally being about VHS porn.
I would have had to buy a DVD player, but really I would have got a CD writer. I would have ripped the DVDs onto my laptop and Dropbox them to you.
Oh, yeah. So you've got them forever.
Yeah, might have to, because I feel like one day they're going to try and clean up that show, and I'm like, no, I need it in its horrid glory.
It was pre widescreen TV as well. The aspect ratio of the
it was.
Well, it was. Well, my version had didn't fill the screen.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's just what is available to buy. I don't know who owns it, but they need to get it together.
I don't know, because I think it could be, when was cycle 11 shot? When was that? Because it could feasibly be longer enough ago that it wasn't, that the aspect ratio of TVs was different.
I feel like there was widescreen, but let me Google. Cycle. Keep talking. Sorry, I'm like.
So we were originally going to try and watch episode 3. Couldn't find it anywhere. So then we thought, right, well, the cycles 7 to I don't know whatever 1,000 are on Amazon Prime. So we were like, right, well, let's pick the next cycle available to us on Prime that is next ranked as, I don't know what our criteria was, probably like the best or the messiest or whatever. So The next one coming up was for a cycle we could watch was 11. Cut to the next day, or literally hours before we're supposed to be recording. What have Amazon Prime done? They've taken all of America's Next Top Model off Amazon Prime, so now we have to pay for it.
But it's also possible that I was on the US Prime, because you can stream that cycle on the US Prime, but you can't stream it on the UK.
But I did the same thing.
Oh my God, so it literally was today that they took it down.
They knew, the bastards knew.
I feel like everything was conspiring against us not to watch this, but they don't know our determination. We have never tried to watch anything more.
Believe it. And Ruth, did you buy the season or the episode?
I bought the episode. Did you buy the season?
No, I just bought the episode because I was like, do you know what? I was really tempted to just go for the full £12 by the cycle.
It's a good price.
It's a good price considering as though an episode is £2.
Yeah.
So I was like, should just get the cycle. But I was like, you know what? Just watch one episode, see if you're actually that invested, because you might watch it and just think, I can't do this. This is quite toxic.
I want to watch the whole thing.
I want to watch every single cycle ever. But it is on it, as I have already done. Well, I think I dropped off in the later ones. But that show has a lot to answer for in my life, I think.
Oh my God, definitely. But then I feel like I can't judge, because I've talked about this before on the podcast. Do you remember like at the height of the pandemic where people were online talking about Tyra Banks, and I was on the internet saying, leave Tyra alone. Not because I didn't disagree, because the thing is I'd had those conversations in real life. I remember when I did a video shoot, we were literally talking about how bad some of those things were. Randomly, because that's just what you talk about. But I just felt like the timing of her getting dragged in that particular, because people drag her every other week on Twitter, but it like reached a new audience, and I was just like, honey, people are dying, shut the fuck up, I don't care about this mess. However, Tyra, okay, and this is also no shade, because I'm not gonna lie, God bless that woman, I love her. Tyra Banks is, I would describe this show, not Tyra, I don't know the woman, I would describe this show as unhinged.
Absolutely unhinged. Like, who wrote this plot? And do you realize that what you're like, do you know, I feel like I can't say anything because it's just,
we couldn't have picked, it was a random episode, but it couldn't have been a better episode, because this, if you've seen one makeover episode, you've seen them all, honestly.
Absolutely. Although I felt like there was not really anything that controversial here. No one was that upset. No one had that much of a drastic change.
But that's because we're on cycle 11 and they know that they go further. Yeah. So there were some people who were like, do you remember? There's a point where they walk into the supermarket to do their CoverGirl cosmetics bullshit. And the guy, whoever he is, I guess he's an executive producer or something. He's like, or a producer. He's like, do you all have your makeup? And they're like, yes. And he's like, all of you? And they're like, yes. And then they zoom in on two girls' faces who look like they want to fucking smash the store.
He's the makeup artist. He was the season 3 winner, spoiler alert, of RuPaul's Drag Race.
No way.
Yeah. I thought I recognized him.
No
way. So obviously, I'd known him all along from America's Next Top Model before I even started watching Drag Race. But yeah, I just thought that was quite interesting.
But to be fair, those two shows, I was thinking that if we really couldn't find it, we should do Drag Race. We should do a Drag Race episode anyway. But they are sister shows.
Absolutely.
And real life sisters.
Yes. Yeah.
The queens of chaos.
100%.
Do you remember later on in the pandemic where I think it was last year, I don't know if I retweeted it or posted it on my Instagram stories. It was like a video of Tyra Banks and she was using her different voices and she was using one like this. Just listen one like this. It was just such a random clip. And it was like, I'm not gonna lie, I also, that's why I could never judge Tyra Banks, because I do like unhinged stuff like that when I'm at home. But posting it is, anyway, Post away, guys. Keep me entertained.
Like the segue or the introduction into this being the makeover episode with the girls, just like, let's sit down, let's have a pizza party. Let's have a princess pizza party. Let me tell you about how I transformed my career when I was 22. And I was suddenly like, you know, my booty and my boobs were coming in like at 22.
I think what she meant is she'd always been a size 6.
Yeah. And then suddenly,
now she was like a size 8.
Yeah.
And it was sorry.
And then she's like, then my mom said, we're not going to do that. We're going to order pizza. I'm like, look, there's no way. I can't.
Your mum did not order pizza.
Yeah. And it was just a bizarre episode. And then like, well, we just sat around and then we were like, well, I guess we're not going to do high fashion anymore. So let's call Victoria's Secret Sports Illustrated.
To be honest, they might have really strategized her career like that. I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
And I loved the overall stories. It's just funny because this is maybe because of that book, but now when I'm watching it, like you can just hear how it's like, and Jay did it as well before he introduced the photo shoot. It's just like they just add these, basically it's like nuggets of Tyra's career life and like her overall story vaguely wrapped into a shot. It's really just about her story, but like it's like, why are the models even here?
Yeah, it's Tyra Banks' story played out over multiple different cycles and episodes where we're just getting snippets in. It's like I felt it's almost like surreal at times.
It isn't.
You're like, what is this? Why are you acting out? Like, what place does Miss J Alexander have coming in here as like the wicked, the evil queen dressed as the old crone, giving Tyra an apple? Like, when did the Snow White storyline come into this?
Ridiculous.
You've just been talking about how your boobs and butt came in, and so you've transformed your career, and now Miss J's like the evil queen crone.
Miss J comes in with no warning, by the way, dressed as the
Disney
evil
version of the evil queen as the old crone.
When
Hunchback and everything.
Yeah, when she goes to give Snow White an apple. Imagine if you're one of the girls sitting there, they're squealing with joy, by the way. He comes in, he gives her this apple, and then somebody shouts like, "Don't watch out, Princess Tyra." And then she eats the apple. And she takes a huge bite. Like, I feel like that was very much not scripted and like improv and just, but the best
she wanted to go method there.
Yeah, 100%. She's a method
when
actor.
She collapses because she's eaten a poison apple, like,
the girls are literally screaming in this show. The girls, it's the fact that the girls are like,
because they don't know what's going on. I'm sorry, there's no way that they're there like, this is amazing. I feel like I'm watching live action here. I feel like I'm immersed in the story because the acting is impeccable, and it doesn't make sense when fucking Miss J Alexander is in costume. Tyra is not in costume, and then
she has a tiara.
Of course, because it's a princess party, and then Jay Manuel comes along. It dressed as a fucking
for me.
Prince.
That's when I lost it. I could not stop laughing. That was crazy because I was already like, "What the fuck is going on?" But coming in dressed like a prince, I was like, "Stop it."
The whole thing, it screamed improv to me. Like, it was not scripted, because honestly, if somebody scripted it, you need to be fired, because it did not make sense. It did not make sense one bit. Jay Manuel's like, let me see if a kiss will bring her back to life. Tyra being like, oh, I'm too weak to think of the makeovers. I mean, is that because she's not allowed to tell them anymore because she was too harsh or gave them too many what was it?
I don't get it. But I will say, made my day. Fucking
No,
brilliant television.
It was, but I was kind of missing the moment, you know, where she does go. It's pretty brutal in the earlier seasons where she's like, and you are gonna get, and like, you know, kind of complete opposite, and like,
we're gonna shave your head bald,
and we're gonna dye your eyebrows. We're gonna bleach them. She always used to bleach somebody's eyebrows. All of that was missing. No one got an extreme makeover, I don't think.
And
then what they call, she's like, I go with the platinum pixie cut. It's like platinum pixie for, what was she called? I can't remember. But we're gonna give her edgy with brown. Brown. You're not even like, at least say brunette. Make it a bit like, just say we're gonna make her give it brown hair. You're like,
that for me was
selling it.
Weirdest part. Like, while the girls are getting their makeovers done, there's an insert where Tyra is dressed as like a magical fairy, like from Cinderella, and is
is she not supposed to be like the
fairy
man
godmother
in the mirror? Or like,
I thought she was the fairy godmother giving like Cinderella style like makeovers
in a mirror though. So I think it's a combination of being like, because it's Snow White, right? So she's like, mirror on the wall, I'm gonna give you a makeover to stun them all.
She literally had a wand. It's insane, and she's clearly ad-libbing and freestyling. No one has scripted that, and she's just describing people's makeovers. But I would say, if you haven't watched this episode, go and pay for it.
She's obviously like, you know, I don't need a script. I can, you know, honey, you need a script because
no, she does not. She does not.
Come on.
She'd like, honestly, watching her go, knowing that that's just her off the cuff. There's something.
She starts strong and then sort of just like doesn't know where to finish their sentence.
I don't think she remembers what she's doing halfway.
Right, yeah, so true, yeah. And I guess we've got to remember that she's not actually there in front of them. She's just there. She's like, what did we give them again?
6 months after they shoot, she like does the voiceover.
What?
Who is this?
I don't know.
Oh my God. If you can't see the video, Natalie is doing a brilliant impression of how Tyra is just like so into something and then just stops and is like, pose.
I don't care. But you gotta be like this. Sometimes you gotta be like this. And then you gotta put it back and be like this. I learned so much about modeling from watching America's Next Top Model.
Oh, did I? I used to really think, the thing is, when I was young and I watched that show and I'd hear the way the judges spoke to the girls, I didn't see a problem. I thought,
that is a problem.
You want to make it.
You do need to do some research.
Yeah, I thought, like you have to practice in the mirror if you want to get your poses right. Like, you have to work on this, you know, it's your craft. Yeah. But now I'm older, I'm like, these girls are obviously not going to get anything out of this show. They're here for our entertainment and just so we can watch more of Tyra and her antics.
Yeah.
They're just pawns.
It's kind of, it's a bit sick, really.
But what is reality? It has to be. It's reality TV, honey. But now I feel like now we know what reality TV is. I mean, you know, there's still horror stories, aren't there? Like Love Island has so many, but like,
and now you know that these girls are getting produced like hell.
I knew they were getting produced when okay, so they have a photo shoot with the photographer who shot Tyra Banks' first ever cover of Sports Illustrated, right?
Mm-hmm.
They clearly don't know who that photographer is. Why would they? I have no idea who he is.
Yeah.
No shade to that man, but why would they know that?
They wouldn't.
They wouldn't. And then the first model is doing one of those backstage interviews, and she's like, it was so great working with the photographer. He really connected with us. And it's just like, they make them all sit down and give us a soundbite about this vile, no shade, but he said something where I thought, you're a dick.
Yeah.
He
said it was with for me, when he was like talking about Isis, and was like, she's just not attractive in the facial structure, and you're like, we know what you fuck off.
No, he said what he said was so transphobic. He said something like, I'm not convinced.
Like, I'm not convinced she'll ever be a model, because, and that's just because of her facial structure,
and he
like
said
the way
that's
that her
purely
face is
based on. And it's like, first of all, no shade, but some of those girls are very, very unusual looking. And Isis was stunning, so I'm not believing you. And as soon as he said, I'm not convinced, it was such a dog whistle. I was like, oh, fuck off. I can't believe they kept that in the edit. What a prick. Anyway, for me, I have to say the funniest thing, I wrote it down. Okay, the girl who went home, I know I'm skipping to the end. And then I looked at all her pictures from before she went home, and they were terrible.
All three of them.
Awful. No, they were bad. They were memorably bad.
Yeah.
But the picture they sent her home for, and they're trying to convince me it's terrible. I'm like, she is sickeningly beautiful, and she looks stunning. Like, you can spin it any way you want. I know you just wanted to send her home because she had one of the strongest pictures
compared to
the other girls. Who was the girl whose eyes were like popping out? That was great TV.
I want to say Hannah, the one that won the Cover Girl challenge.
Oh yes, I put down.
They were
Hannah.
like, just can you like relax your eyes? But I know that would be me in front of a camera.
Same.
Just being like giving it all, and then try like relax your eyes, and you're like, I am. I wouldn't know how to, or like give me intense, and I'd be like, I am, and they're like, you're not, you look angry, and
But how funny, like the girl they sent home, they were like, just relax, don't try, and she literally relaxed and looked sickeningly. Like, if I opened a magazine and saw that picture, I would expect, like, she looked stunning, whereas the other ones I'd be like, what the fuck is this?
But also, like, the critique that they gave her, that Tarek gave her, was like, you've got to understand, sweetie, that when a photographer says, just like, look at me, just like, be yourself, they don't mean you. They don't mean be yourself. They mean be your model self. Like, what?
And the other model's like, preach.
Yes. Like, you've been doing this for how long?
It's also funny that, like, I didn't notice as much when I was young, because I just kind of thought they're aspiring models. They, like, they just have it. They have it. Yeah. I'm like, they don't have anything. They're 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds. Also, don't remember them being that young. Well, maybe they weren't in the earlier cycles.
No, I think they were, because you could. There's a life cycle on it that you couldn't. If you were like 25, you would have been considered old. Too old. Yeah. But that's what when the way that they speak to the girls about, you need to do, and doing the critiques. I think, again, we didn't think that there was anything wrong with it, but that just says so much about like what we felt was an acceptable way to talk to a young woman.
But to us, I mean, when I first started watching it, they didn't seem young. I thought they were so much older.
Well, I suppose because we were younger. Well, I was quite young when I started watching it.
I was almost too young to be watching.
Yeah, for sure.
Should not have been watching that show.
No, and I definitely, it was, well, I don't want to, we won't talk about body image issues.
No, there's some stuff where it's just like the girl who got sent home had tears in her eyes and she's smiling through it the whole time, and like you kind of get conditioned to your talk, like it's like pageantry, like you have to like always present as fine when you're not, and that's sick. That's why we're all fucked up now. I'm not saying because of America's Next Top Model. I'm just talking about, I'm not saying America's Next Top Model invented mental illness. Let's not go too far.
But
what I mean is like it just reflects like so many things that are like common. Like, I know reality TV is predatory or whatever, but at the same time, like, I've worked in so many environments that are like that. So it's just clearly human culture, human working culture.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, I wrote this down: when Mrs. J tells someone to clean up their face because they look a mess because they're crying. I think it was the same girl who got sent out.
It was, it was.
They hated
after she had a makeover. Oh, and he was saying like, yeah, I mean, I could see you like
as a
married to a footballer. Yeah.
I would have been like,
hell.
okay, I'll take that. Cut the check.
Yeah.
I
can pick up my bags.
Yeah.
Like, do you think? Oh my God, like Major League.
Where do you think I should move? Where's the best place?
Do you mean like, should I go for like American football or should I go for soccer and be more European?
She would have been a gorgeous soccer mom. Wow. See, this was okay. Do you see what I mean? Like, look at me. I'm at my worst self, my lowest frequency self.
Also,
she would have been a great wag.
The way that they like glamorize European fashion as like kind of
everything
like the
was loaded
of like high fashion. This is what's sophisticated. Yeah, Americans good, but Americans like kind of like that's commercial and cheap. It's like cheap, it's catalog, it's trashy, or it's too sexy and it's glamour. So you're either like a European style girl, which we know what that means, or you're like a, you know, you can be a commercial girl.
It was all loaded. Even when the guy, the makeup artist in the supermarket said that somebody was too ghetto because she said, yo. I didn't think it was ghetto. I thought it was just awkward. It was funny as hell and
so awkward. But
the
whitest girl.
He said it's just like saying anything is ghetto to me. Any like thing that derives from any form of like black slang is so loaded. Like all of the words they choose. I would have been like, excuse me, sir. What do you mean by ghetto? He said it was too hood rat.
Yes, it's like shocking. What are you talking about?
I wanted to smack that man in his face. I can't lie. I was just like, that's just disgusting to say.
That's just reminded me though that I feel like I need to buy the actual full cycle because this recap of episode 3 they did like last week on something, and then I think somebody had accused one of the like
racist.
Yeah, I was like, I vaguely remember it, but I don't really remember what
I have to see that.
Exactly. What happened?
I have to see it. And I know they handled it in the worst possible.
Oh, absolutely. Like the little, you know, white girl. That's a bit mean.
She's crying.
Said something massively outrageous and problematic, and then
so
it's like
racist. And the way the girl did, like the girl who accused her didn't even want to use the word racist. She said, "Are you prejudiced?" And the girl was like, "Are you calling me racist?"
Oh, I think it was said kind of like that, like, oh, like so shocked and like, baby. Oh man!
Suddenly you're a class actress. I wish you brought that to the shoot. Anyway,
I absolutely have to watch that episode. Whose makeovers did you like?
I mean, I would say the girl who got the ginger weave, but when Tyra said, "You look racially ambiguous,"
oh
now,
no, I was like, Tyra,
pack it up.
No, sorry, racially ambiguous. I was like, okay, I can, fine, but when you then say anybody could look at you and see themselves in you, no, they couldn't.
No, but they could. I thought they could.
You think anybody could? I thought she looked, a racially
in that picture. You could see, like, if you think about whatever race, there's no person on earth. Yeah, seriously, I don't think there's any race you could look at that picture. If someone told you she was like mixed with X, whatever race of the person who was looking at the picture, they'd be like, oh, I can see it. But what upset me was,
but you couldn't. But that doesn't mean that any person could see themselves in that picture.
Oh no, she doesn't look like me.
That's what Tyra was saying. She was like, "You're like, you look racially ambiguous, so anybody could look at that picture and see a little bit of themselves in you." I'm like, that's not true. I get what you're trying to say here, but that's just not true.
No, but that I don't know. I think that in casting and stuff,
it was a gorgeous picture though.
It was a stunning picture, but it just goes to show that a lot of there's loads of people who I won't name, but there's certain types of like white women that have a look that is like they're white, but they kind of look like,
I know,
you're not sure. Yeah. And it just shows that whole look is purposeful, because That's what everybody, even in like when I'm watching Euphoria, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get into it. Guys, read between the lines and use your goddamn sense. Anyway, her crying because, I'm sorry, this is why I had no sympathy for that girl, because she was crying because she had a weave on.
Yeah, but your hair's the same underneath it, unlike another person who might have had their hair all cut off or bleached.
You look the same. Like you can take that off tonight. You can literally take it off within an hour.
Yeah.
Your hair hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah,
you don't look that different. And you're crying.
And you have the coolest look.
Yeah,
it's like this is such a gorgeous.
It's literally like somebody putting a wig on and crying. It's just like they've sewn some extensions down to your head, which you can easily remove, and you're crying. Like, shut the fuck up. But I think that was like part of her storyline.
Yeah.
Because it's like they wanted her to seem like, oh, but she bounced back from adversity. Yes, it was so hard. Whereas if that had been the girl that they hate, they would have been like, grow up. It's just a weave.
Just a weave, pretty girl.
We do have to talk about that girl's home, but I'm sorry. I know. I know this is not funny, but it was literally like a Bowmanizer sketch when that girl said that I hate, like, out of nowhere, I hate my mother. I was like, I couldn't stop laughing because that whole scene was so over the top.
Yeah.
It escalated so quickly. It was like out of nowhere,
but also in the most mild way. Don't you think?
Because they're not really saying, like, it doesn't really matter. I love my mother. I hate my mother. Why do you hate your mother? She calls her an evil bitch because I was like, what? How can you call someone an evil bitch because they don't like their mom? And I think that's why she got sent home. I'll explain my theory later. It's related to that goddamn book.
Oh, okay. Just explain to the listeners.
So Jay Manuel wrote, that's Mr. J, wrote a book, and we both thought, we thought it was a tell-all book.
I genuinely thought that it was his
a memoir.
Exactly. A memoir
Same.
of his like torturous time on America's Next Top Model, telling us everything that happened and what the real scoop was.
But it basically is, because so it's like it's a fictional book, but like the 4 judges in the book are exactly like the 4 judges in real life. And he says that like he wants it to be like it's satirical, and then and there's it kind of leaves the reader guessing which parts are real and which parts aren't. But I'm like, but this is so believable.
It's all real.
This is real. But I think some of it is a little bit silly. But
as was the show.
And it's, I guess, because of a woman we've mentioned before that we've both worked with, who was like a parody of a human, a parody of a woman working in fashion. Like, honestly, like after when you meet somebody like that, you're like, no, this is what these people are really like. It's not an act. It's so, if you ever meet anybody like that, don't feel like you have to impress them. Always push their buttons. Just wind them up. Play dumb. They hate that shit. Act like you don't know stuff that you just push them because they get so irritated. It's so funny. Never feel like you have to suck up to them or be nice to them. Don't even treat them with decency, because they will take that and they will stray the life of you. Like, they'll see that as a weakness because everyone's trying to suck up to them, because it's an industry norm that you have to be nice or like suck up to these people, respect these people. Don't respect any of it and treat it like a joke. And other people might get upset with you in the moment, but trust me, in the long run, you will laugh. Because my favorite memories, like one of my pettiest memories, is being in this designer's office. And I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. His assistant needed help with something. I wasn't helping her. I picked up one of his reference books and I was fingering it through it, and I could see him in the corner of my eye staring at me as if to say, put that fucking book down. But I knew he was looking at me. I didn't give a heck. It's such a petty thing. I flicked through that book so slowly until he was like, Ruth, because he wanted me to put it down. And I was like, like playing dumb. I cherish those moments so much. It's so petty, but that's the only way you can like get anything from them. Just wind them up in the smallest way.
And ultimately in those kind of jobs as well,
not to respect others' boundaries.
But well, in those kind of roles as well, you're often like, you're getting paid like so little, way less than you or deserve to be, than you should be getting paid, that it like, this is like where you're making up the difference in salary in these petty moments. This is you getting paid. You've got to find a way to get paid.
And they always win, by the way. The bookie always win. House always wins.
House always wins, yeah, for sure.
The last thing that man said to me, I was like, I could smack you enough. Oh. I'll tell you off there.
Say? Oh, God.
I wish I could just tell these stories. I don't think I have. I just forget. So much fucked up stuff happens.
It's not PPI. What did he say to you? It's not personally identifiable information.
No, it's not even a big thing. It's the way he was just like, he basically, the very last thing he said to me was, have a great summer. And I was just like, he's
just terminated your contract.
No, okay, so basically what happened, I was under a 1-year contract.
Yeah. That's
wasn't getting renewed, but I already knew it wasn't getting renewed. So I'd already started doing the documentation and stuff.
Oh my God, that's more than they deserved.
Yeah, but still, like, it's also beneficial to me as someone who works on projects to understand that it's treat it like a project rather than because sometimes with contract roles, really what you are is you're there to work on a project. When it's done, you're supposed to go. But what they do in like a lot of like creative industries is so they can pay you a lot of industries in general, so they can pay you a lot less. They put you on a fixed term when you shouldn't be, and a fixed term is longer, and they can pay you like a salaried employee. And even though they tell you, oh, it's just a year, they'll to make you feel small. I honestly think this, and people say I'm proud, but I don't care. I genuinely think it's to make people feel small. They'll treat you like you're auditioning. So what you have to do is reject that in Jesus' name and treat it like a one-term contract, so they don't have that power over you.
Yeah, so it's not like they can't feel like they're dangling a carrot of
because
we might extend you, or you might actually turn perm after this. Think about after this 1 year.
Never
like,
turn
I'm basically
perm.
Already perm with this fixed term contract. Don't say like you can just fuck off.
Because a fixed term isn't like being a contractor where you're getting paid a lot more than you would to make up for the fact that you're not fixed term. A fixed term is like they're paying you a salary. So don't let them get in your head with all that shit.
Yeah.
So the reason it's just a psychological thing. And so that when she then sat me down and gave me this speech, I could just say, well, I didn't expect to be renewed, and I've already started preparing the documentation. And then she's like, oh, that's good of you. No, you wanted me to cry. You wanted me to be sad. Then when you walk into a room, somebody in accounts was like, oh my God, I heard what happened. I'm so sorry. And I was
my contract was ending already, guys.
No, I know, but that's what they. I don't know how they've told other people or whatever.
True. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that you're a contractor.
I'm on a what? Yeah, they don't know I'm a contractor. So I was just like, wow. The way I reacted, and then she was like, "Oh my God, you're so strong," and I was just like, "Honey, this is a £24,000 a year job. I'll be fine." I'll manage. Oh my
God, yeah. Would you say that to somebody on maternity cover? Like, we know that it's covered. Come on.
But they do that company. There was one time where the head of like creative, I didn't sign anything, I say what I want. The head of creative was actually not like, it wasn't, they didn't wait till the end. I don't know if she was on a contract or whatever. They actually like fired her on the spot. But the way they did it was like in the most dramatic way. And I honestly think that they did that to embarrass her, because there was no need. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they were in a state of emergency or she'd done something really bad. It was clearly a show of power. And when you do something like that to a senior member of staff, for me, I just lose any shred of respect I had for you, because it's just like, even if you want, I think in business is business. If you want to get rid of someone, you can get rid of them. If you need them to go then and there, fair enough. But the way they did it, sending out this email, that was a show of power, and they just wanted to humiliate her. And she's an adult woman, and most of the people there are in their mid-20s like I was. Yeah. And I just feel like to humiliate somebody like that, especially a woman, isn't cute. That especially really was fucked
in
up.
An industry like that. I feel like all industries are kind of small.
Oh, I see what you mean. Especially, yeah, I know. But everyone who gets into that drama always ends up getting a better job anyway.
And then doing a tell-all novel. Anyway, back to Jay Manuel's Mr. J's book. Yeah. How's it going? Ruth bought the audiobook. No, you didn't buy the audiobook. You had a credit.
I rejoined Audible so I could listen to this. I tried to get it done in 2 days. Oh my God. Honestly, I know this sounds so dramatic, but
it's 9 hours long, guys. Just so
it's 9 hours. I didn't get it done. I've got like 2.5 hours left, and binge listening to this audio. It's not it. I'm sorry. But it's not bad, and I'll definitely miss it when it's over. It's basically that you
should have rationed it. Maybe not
no, because I wanted to get it done for this episode, so I could like tell you what I think. Some of the I was gonna say the nastiest, but like, yeah, in a way, like the wildest like things that happened. Okay, so the character who's clearly meant to be Nigel Barker, first, the main character who's clearly Jay, thinks that he's like this homophobic guy being brought onto the show.
Jay wrote himself as the main character, of course.
Yes.
Is it in first person? Is it his account? Okay.
There's a narrator, but it's his account.
Yeah.
It would have been good in first person, actually. Anywho, sorry. He's not a bad writer at all. I especially loved his use of vocabulary. I know that sounds silly, but
his ghostwriter is probably,
No, I think he really wrote it. He doesn't, honestly, one thing I know from this book, he is not a man to cut corners. When he says he did it. Like, I like that. I respect him. Also, I didn't know he was black biracial. No, I had no idea. They gave him a racially ambiguous. Yeah, they literally gave him a racially ambiguous makeover. It's in the book. The main character in the book is befriends Tyra Banks at a Michael Kors show. Sorry, not Tyra Banks, Kitty Cash. It befriends Kitty Cash at a Michael Kors show.
Kitty Cash.
Oh my God. Talking about this, people are going to think I'm so weird, but talking about this kind of stuff is genuinely triggering for me.
I'm not surprised.
I know it's not a real thing. It's not like I lived through a war or anything, but like a lot has happened in working in this industry that is high key racist. It's difficult. So sometimes when I have to think about it a lot or talk about it a lot, it makes me feel a bit like weird. But anyway, so he befriends her, she takes him in, and then he becomes her like BFF / like assistant. But it's one of those things where it's like, when somebody's like, what these people are like, and I'm not saying that's what Tyra Banks is like, I'm talking about Kitty Cash, but we know what people like this are like, where they're like super big characters and they make you feel like you're so special. And then they take advantage of you kind of thing. Yeah. And in the end, they don't respect you and cast you to the side, and you're just out with last week's rubbish.
And somebody else has come along and has taken your place, the golden and you have to watch it all happen and play out in front of you. And you're like...
Yeah. And then it creates really horrible environments, like cutthroat environments, because everybody's like fighting to be that special somebody. Unless you just don't give a heck like me, and then you end up just smoking away into oblivion. You need a coping mechanism. Anyway.
So not Nigel Barker comes onto the show.
So not Nigel Barker is homophobic when he's introduced as a homophobic character. Okay. But then turns out to
Have an affair.
be he comes
Okay.
on to Jay, not Jay, Eric, I can't remember the main character's name. He comes on to the main character even though he's married, and then it's like it transpires that he has a quote thing for brown boys. But the way he comes on to him, I'm not saying it's like sexual assault, I'm saying it's borderline.
Right. Yeah. It's harassment, maybe.
It's it's a fireable offense.
Okay.
And it's not, or maybe it is sexual assault, because it's like there was no asking. No, it is sexual assault actually, because it's not like he asked him. It's not
consensual. Yeah.
He didn't ask him. He kind of was like, he came on to him in a way that was like assuming that he was down.
And
and then it's not just that he assumed he was down. It was like in the book. I'm not saying that this is what really happened.
We don't know what happened in
happened.
Real life.
Yeah,
this is all fiction.
Yeah, but in the book, that not Nigel Parker comes onto the main character, and then he kind of like gets him on the floor, kind of thing, and then not Mr. J has to like knee him in the balls, and that's when he realizes that it's a solid no. But then not Mr. J tells Kitty Cash, and Kitty Cash's reaction was like, "This is just after season 1's wrapped. Well, the show's popping. Like,
deal with it.
Have to suck it up, kind of thing."
And suck it.
No, not and suck it. Jesus. No. But that's something where I felt like no shade, but it could have been believable. Again, don't come for me. I don't know. I'm just reading a book. I'm trying to see through the real problem is that he's clearly legally not allowed to write a real book, but he says that he wanted to write something that was like fun and funny. Like he didn't want it. Do you know what I mean? He wanted to.
Yeah, but it actually has the readers like,
is this real? That's the thing I just want to know. But yeah, some of it's like, it just made me realize like it's basically in the book, the show is fixed by whoever Kitty Cash wants to wins, and she kind of does things and creates obstacles and creates a narrative so that this person can win. And then sometimes it's like the person who there'll be like someone who like is like really fucking talented, but so it's like she can't rewrite the story because
somebody's just naturally pipping that girl to the other person to the post.
Yeah, because she's just
somebody's
better.
Kind of like ruining her big master plan.
Yeah, but the other judges don't know that Kitty Cash is basically grooming them until later in the book, where they're like,
Kitty
why
Cash
are we even here?
is essentially then the evil queen, just masterminding things.
Yeah, and like Kitty Cash, but it is said in the book that Kitty Cash is brilliant. Like it's not like but it's almost like she's an evil genius, but also like not a genius, and is very much will plagiarize and like not do a lot of stuff herself. There's just so much in it. There's like a bit about like her Kitty Cash starting a singing career, as we know, Tyra Banks certified Bob. That I can't remember what it's called, but yeah. And then there's also a part
Shake
where
your booty.
Yeah, there you go. Shake your body, move your body. Which I really should add to my list of socialites make songs playlist.
Yeah, 100%.
Move your body. I like it. You can tell it's a good song. It's just like, no, I mean, like it's whoever produced it and wrote the song. Like, did an excellent job. Like if another singer had sang that, I would have loved that song. I like it. I like the song.
And there's no telling me otherwise.
And then there's a point where this is something I didn't know. Kitty Cash in the book writes a teen sci-fi novel which is met to horrible reviews. Tyra Banks has a teen sci-fi novel. I had no idea.
Well, that's next on your Audible list.
There's not an audio version. I'm gonna have to.
What?
I can't read a bad book. I can listen to one. I'm not saying this is bad. I think this is actually probably a better book if you're going on holiday, like, and you want like a silly
trashy
beach
kind
book.
Of like, easy.
You could get through this in 5 minutes.
The spot.
Yeah, but I don't think I could read a bad sci-fi book. You know
a bad teen sci-fi book. What's it called, please?
I'm trying to find it. One sec.
Sorry,
It's something about Planet Fierce, or maybe that's what it's
Oh,
called.
shut up! It can't be called Planet Fierce. I'm going to look
I
it on
think
my
that's what
Goodreads
it's
app
called
to
in
see if it Tyra Banks Model Land.
Yeah, there we go.
Actually, this is starting to ring a bell.
I've never heard of this. The cover I love. Not that that's the point, but I really like the cover. I'm 100% going to have to read this book in my lifetime.
Oh my God, it got 2.95 stars on Goodreads. Do you want to know the synopsis?
Yes.
No one gets in without being asked. And with her untamable hair, large forehead, and gawky body, who's that? Tuki de la Creme isn't expecting an invitation. Model Land, the exclusive, mysterious place on top of the mountain, never dares to make an appearance in her dreams. But someone has plans for Tuki. Before she can blink her mismatched eyes, Tuki finds herself in the very place every girl in the world obsesses about, and 3 unlikely girls have joined her. Only 7 extraordinary young women become intoxibellas each year, famous, worshipped, magical.
So basically, America's Next Top Model.
Absolutely. Cycle 1000. What happens to those who don't make it? Well, no one really speaks of that. Like no one really speaks of the girls who do. Some things are better left unsaid. Thrown into a world where she doesn't seem to belong, Tuki glimpses a future that could be hers if she survives the beastly catwalk corridor and terrifying thigh-high boot camp. Or could it? Dark rumors like silken thread swirl around the question of why Tuki and her friends were selected. And the shadows around Model Land hide sinister secrets. Are you ready? Model Land is waiting for you.
I have no idea what that book's about. But I will read it at one point. Tyra Banks, you will get more of my money. If one thing's for certain, I'm going to pay Tyra Banks for something.
Someone's review. This is, to put it mildly, a hot mess. Scratch that. It's just a mess, a messy mess.
Oh my God. You should see Jay Manuel's reviews, because, you know, obviously Tyra Banks does have like a huge fan base of like stans. So they've like flooded his, his Goodreads reviews with essays. So I actually screenshotted one because I haven't read the whole thing, but I just thought this is so funny to me anyway. His name is Ari Chest, which feels like a fake name, but sure. Like he gave it
Airy Chest.
It's ARY. So yes. So yes, yeah. This was over a year ago. It only came out in 2020. He gave it 1 star. He starts, in his picture, he looks like a white man. I don't know this man. Dear Mr. Jay Manuel, full stop instead of a comma. So he's ready.
This is it. He means business.
There's paragraphs. Oh my God. You don't know me. It's unlikely you'll ever read this. But writing a review as if I'm talking to you directly is the only way I can get my thoughts out. I can only feel I can obtain justice if I pretend I'm facing you head on. Why do you need justice? Okay, so here we go. First, background. You were my favorite on America's Next Top Model. I had no idea what a creative director was.
I feel like this man feels betrayed. He looked up to Jay Manuel.
He did. That's what he's saying.
Laying the groundwork here. This man, Jay Manuel, may be responsible for this man being in the creative industry himself. Again, I'm speculating. Please continue.
And I know now what you did was far removed from the real thing. Everything about the show was.
Call yourself a creative director.
Yeah, basically. America's Next Top Model was a reality show that did soap opera drama the best. I looked up to you because you helped me feel connected to the mainstream fashion industry more than Nigel, whose work was actually relevant to the industry. You don't know that.
Irrelevant.
Relevant. It's very confusing. Now, here we are a decade later after the peak of the show that made your name. And we have this.
Would we say the peak of the show was...
book. That's far removed from what it was clearly meant to be. You clearly wanted to write a memoir. I can't believe how long this is. Maybe you knew your fellow alum was releasing one on his time in Vogue. Oh,
is that what Nigel, Jay Alexander, Nigel Baker, Nigel Barker?
No, Andre.
Andre Leontelli. Oh, come on, you can't compare them.
Yeah, but people say that the reason that he completely excluded America's Next Top Model, and by people, I mean people on Goodreads, is because of contracts. Somebody was like speculating that are the America's Next Top Model's contracts so stiff, or is it just like a blip in his career because his career was like so long? Do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have expected him to write about America's Next Top Model in his memoir. Personally.
Absolutely not.
It just seems like so much other stuff happened in his life that why would he? Anyway, but it's likely that you're under a strict NDA. So all you're left is doing a romaniclef. I don't know what that means. A romaniclef. For anyone who isn't sure what that is, me.
Thank you, everybody on Goodreads. And we read, sir. We read if we're on Goodreads, but come on.
It's an autobiography disguised as fiction. Often people who write them are trying to put someone they knew in a negative light without being sued for slander. Obviously, because he even goes as far as to say when Kitty Cash says her idea for America's Next Top Model, he says, but doesn't America's Next Top Model already do that? As if he's trying to say, I'm definitely not talking about America's Next Top Model.
You know what I mean? Actually name checks America's Next Top Model about
even though this book is called The Wig, the Bitch, and the Meltdown, and the Meltdown is in the America's Next Top Model logo. He is clearly on the front cover with silver hair, and there is a woman, like a tall model with long red hair in a gown behind him, who I'm guessing is a quote Kitty Cash, but clearly Tyra Banks,
100%.
Yeah, but he could have. I'm guessing it would have been a big lawsuit. Sometimes. How is
it not a lawsuit anyway, though?
No, because he's stating that he's not talking about that. He's allowed to write fiction. It wouldn't be fair if you could sue people for slandering you in fiction, because he also may have added parts that weren't true, and then
enough to make it not true, just to at least so the lawyers aren't. But also the parts
that are true. Like, for example, if he was sexually assaulted and that was true, would you sue if you knew that you'd done that? You wouldn't. You'd just be like, let me let that go. Do you know what I mean? Like, who's going to sue him?
Yeah, because you have to admit that you did that. But if you didn't do that, then it's also like...
No, but you would... Yeah, I'm not going to say that he's done anything because we really don't know. But it's clearly like... There's clearly things in the book that I'm guessing somebody definitely came on to him. Like, you can just tell some things are like, and then like with the whole fixing the show to like treating some models like badly, like shaving somebody's head, like after the makeover, having another makeover in one season. I have to Google if that happened. Everything I Google if it happened. So I'm kind of like this.
I definitely think there was some cycle, at least one, where a model did get another makeover. In a later episode.
According to this book, it was because she was so strong they had to do something extreme
to break her.
Yeah, I know, but yeah. Anyway, this guy goes on and on and on. There's nothing wrong with revenge fiction. It's produced some classic, think Valley of the Dolls. While using revenge fiction to rant about someone is fine, ranting does not make for the actual story. blah, 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 blah. It gets old after the first chapter. I'm sorry you're so bitter, Jay. We've known for years she's a mega diva. What happened to Angela proved it. Never heard of her. I'm talking about me. I've never heard of Angela.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you can't write the non-fiction book you wanted. It would have been better. I do wonder if you thought you would get away with satirical chick lit. It is due to her novels have had some recognition, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. The last paragraph. While the world of fashion in America's Next Top Model's heyday was at its peak lavishness, it's no longer relevant. The viewers grew up and know better. This is a man that bought the book and has written a 10-page review. Like, do they know better? Or
have
are
we grown up?
Yeah. Are we just as dumb and damaged? It's not a cute novelty. A lot of us would rather give up a dream job than put up with the toxic work culture that you did. Yeah, now, back then, honey, I've put up with a lot of shit I didn't need to.
Absolutely.
The next time you write about the industry that made you famous, I don't like this because it's like you're clearly, this could be Tyra Banks.
It is only just dawning on us now. Yeah.
Or it's Nigel Barker. It's like, why would you be like, oh, we don't care about that anymore. Nobody works in toxic environments. And it's the industry that made you famous. Like, why would you say that?
You should be able to take the toxicity.
Yeah.
You just wanted to be famous.
And then he ends it with, the next time you write about the industry that made you famous, do it to connect with us, not connect us with what made you important. We already got our fill. Oh, Jesus.
If I had to review that review, I'd give it a 1 star.
I'm so sorry. I wish I'd read the whole thing and not read it out on the podcast. I've just burned 20 minutes of our podcast with the worst. But anybody out there, get the book. If you just, don't expect much. I don't mean that in a horrible way, but if you are an America's Next Top Model fan and you just want to be nosy, even if you hate the show, if you want to be nosy, get the book.
Do you think better to get it as the book or
audio?
Audio.
Personally, audio, because it's easy. It's like you can force yourself to listen to it quickly. But if you're going on holiday to the beach, then get the paperback. I prefer to read something a bit more transformative. Do you know what I mean? I feel like even though the book is, I don't know, I feel like there's something about engaging with things like this that make me feel over, even though it's entertaining. Even like this episode, I probably won't listen to this episode because there's something about it that makes me feel empty. Does that make sense? It makes me feel sad. It's a really weird thing.
So sorry, guys, if you've got to this point and you're wondering why you have a massive sense of ennui. It's because this is such an empty, vacuous episode.
Yeah, because it's like it's not the episode. It's just like, okay, when you delve into this book, like I'm listening to this book over and over and over, and I already feel self-conscious about certain things, and they keep referencing weight a lot. It's just like things like that aren't really good to have in your mind.
Yes, yeah.
Full stop. Even if it's funny or you can see the irony or the craziness of it,
it's
not good. But I like that it shows you how much work he put in, and I know no one will believe him, but I believe him that he was like he was clearly I believe him. I believe that he was he put a lot of work in. It's so funny. I always thought him and Mrs. J off camera would be like best friends, but it's like he sees like Mrs. J as just like, I mean, the main character in the book sees Mrs. J as just like another diva on set.
Well, she probably was.
Yeah. And then I was going to tell you. And then the only thing it says about what is her name? The first highest paid, Janice
Dickinson.
It just references her being drunk like the whole time, like sloshed. And there's a lot of talk about different people on like Xanax and like crushing pills into people's drinks. I don't know, it's like a lot, but yeah.
Have you ever watched Unreal?
No.
I'm sure I've told you about it before, because it
What is it?
reminds me a bit of that. It's a TV show, a drama show about the producers on a like Bachelor style or TV show. You know, the show The Bachelor.
No, I know what you mean, but I'm sorry, this is me when I make that face, because I'm literally like going through.
So it kind of focuses on the behind the scenes, like the producers and how they.
Is it fictional?
Like, it's completely fictional, but I mean, it feels like, God, this is probably what it's actually like.
Yes,
and how they go round, and each producer has their set of like women who they produce, and they kind of like have to play off against each other, and then it's like, you know, at the end, like whose person has like been picked, and it's just an absolute fucking mess. Like, it's carnage.
That's literally what this book is like, because it's like, even if this isn't true, this is definitely the dynamic.
It might not be this exact situation.
I'm not saying these things are facts, and you can't, like, obviously you can't base what the judgment of real life people based on this fictional book, because he purposely hasn't done that. But this is definitely the dynamic, and it does, when you're watching the show, you can see it, like you can clearly see like them trying to create narratives. And like they did that on the final season of Dear White People. The final 2 seasons of Dear White People, I personally think, just did not get their dues. I don't know why people don't like them. I think it's because it's very like theatre kiddie. Do you know what I mean?
I dropped off after.
I think there's only 4 seasons.
They started to go. I don't think I watched the final season, but when it started to go into like the secret society.
Oh my God, I love that shit. I just find the whole thing so random and quite nerdy. I quite like it. Like, it's like, I can see why it might not be more like the final season. I could definitely see why people wouldn't like it, but like, okay, you can imagine, for me, this is great. It's like they did a season where it's like a musical.
A whole season?
The final season is a musical. Not the whole, they don't sing throughout, but they sing within and it's like
every single episode.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And they incorporate like 80s R&B songs. I can get why people don't like it, but whenever I watch with the last 2 seasons of Dear White People, I've started it and been like, what the fuck is this? By the end, I've been like, that was fucking good. That was fucking
okay, I see what you did there.
I like that. Oh my God, I loved it. But yeah, they did that with so do you remember Coco from Dear White People, who was like well the most memorable character? Do you remember the most memorable character from Dear White People? She goes on a reality TV show, and she's being produced, and she doesn't trust her black producer who she gets paired with, because he feels like she's trying to like make her into like, I don't know, almost like a parody of who she is as a black woman. But then she goes with a white woman producer who ends up setting her up to look like crazy for the drama. So then she goes back to her original producer. It's so good to watch in terms of understanding reality TV. I was like, I get it. I also knew somebody who was a producer on reality TV for ITV, but I didn't really get what they did, but now I get it. And now honestly, I can see why she would be fucking brilliant at that job. Like, she is a producer all the time. Like, when we would go out at uni, she was like a friend of a friend, super charismatic, and she almost like, I don't think I've ever known someone so charismatic. She like she can change the evening,
right?
Do you know what I mean? So I can see she could be good at creating mess on reality TV. I mean, ethical, no.
Oh, and this show Unreal, so unethical. I think you'd like it,
but good. Yeah. Wow.
And you know, oh God, what's she called? Liz from Roswell High, like the main protagonist.
Blonde. Oh, brown hair.
No, brown hair. Yeah, she's in it. She's like the main.
That's so random to me.
Yeah, she's one of the.
Oh my God.
Jeremy.
Corbyn.
Jeremy Bauer.
What have you been doing since you left the Labour Party? I'm an actor now.
What's it called? The Canadian actor who's in Canada's
Canada's Most Wanted. Oh, okay. What's his name? Jeremy?
I always want to say Jeremy Bauer Campbell, but I think that
I'm just going to put Jeremy Canadian in.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe I should have gone with Canada Drag Race.
Canada Drag Race. Oh, it is Jeremy Bauer Chapman.
I don't know him.
Okay. You may recognize. No.
Oh my god, I love his eye makeup though. Side note, that is not what we're talking about.
Well, he's also in it.
Oh my gosh, he does
and the TV show. So the show in Unreal that they are producing for is called like Ever After.
Oh my god, of course it is. That's so funny. I actually was gonna post so I don't know if I told you, I posted a thing I saw on Netflix of like, it's a TV show, but it's literally every dating show on Netflix. And it came up and I just was like, that screenshot, it's called Are You the One? And then it's like, they're like in the corner, you can kind of see that it's like a white blonde woman who's holding on to like this white man with like, they both got deep tans. So it's like, oh, they're really white. They could be slightly racially
ambiguous.
And it's like, are you the one?
Did you see yourself in that person?
Oh my god, absolutely not. And then it's like, watch season 4 now. A group of single contestants heads to a tropical destination where they must find their perfect matches for a shot at serious cash and lasting love. That is every single dating show. You can't have a shot at serious cash and everlasting love. Like, you can't have those two things.
And is it at both of them or either or?
No, it's at both. But all dating shows are at
simultaneously.
Both. Yeah, so like that's not possible.
You either get riches and wealth and love, or you get fuck all and heartbreak and you're poor. You can't have both. You're either a winner or a loser.
But as most people know, ideally the best thing to do on a dating show is to fall deeply, madly in love and be a character. But that never happens. Well, very rarely happens. So the second best thing, which is the more lucrative thing often, is to just be like a side character who is so funny and lovable that you get like, you can do reality TV for the rest of your life.
That's the better one. No.
Yeah.
If you're too much of a character, then people will love you and hate you, and you don't want to be a Marmite.
Sometimes you do get, or you could be a villain. Villains can do well now. They couldn't before. But I feel like the villain
I couldn't take it.
No, it's too much. It's too much. Yeah. Everyone is like, we've seen how many suicides there've been. Like the villain thing is just really unethical. Now we know how much these shows are produced.
Yeah,
it's fucked up.
And we'll still watch them and be angry with the person as if they're not. Just like be angry with the character they're playing, like you would hate a character on a TV show. But because that's essentially what.
I think that won't change until someone actually does a documentary on a reality TV show that just shows in black and white how much it's produced. But no one ever will. No one ever will.
Oh, won't they?
Ooh.
Idea
for a reality TV show. Oh my god. So you know how on Too Hot to Handle, we're taking this on the road basically. You know on Too Hot to Handle, they're on a dating show, but they don't know they're on Too Hot to Handle. No. So they think they're going on, say, Are You the One? And they get there and it's been sold to them as this like new reality TV show. And these people are all like desperate to be on TV, no shade. So they're like, they sign up for it or whatever. And then when they get there, it's like, you're actually on Too Hot to Handle. It's like, oh my god, no. So Too Hot to Handle is like a show where, and to shine up for the show, they're supposed to be like horny single people who are just like, they look for people who are particularly like outgoing and outrageous. But Too Hot to Handle, the premise is like, you can't kiss or touch any other contestants or have sex. And every time you do, the cash prize goes down. So like all your other contestants will turn on you because Lana, who is this like little, basically Lana is like Siri.
Okay. Wait, Siri is an Apple Siri.
Yeah, or like what's Amazon's?
Oh, Alexa. Or
yeah, more like
Cortina.
Alexa.
I see.
It's like a device. It's like this. I can't remember my shapes. Round
Triangle.
bottom, triangle at the top. Cone.
Cone. Yeah.
Cone. How do I not remember cone? And I'm like, I stutter like I'm on. No, cone. And like Lana's like this robot voice. He's like, and then she'll be like the next day, these people have been having sex. The cash prize now stands at and that's how the contestants that's how the contestants react. And then like the obvious logical thing to do is just to stop fucking, but
but they're probably making it a very sexed up environment.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm not being funny, but those people, like, I've
too hot.
I've got to say, I get it. They are too hot to handle. They really are. But yeah,
but then how do you win? Do people get voted out? And is it like last man standing or
Lana just randomly kicks people out, so it's definitely being produced. Like, okay, so I've only ever watched Too Hot to Handle season 2. It's like the US one, but there's a lot of people from Europe there as well.
Okay. So
the winner is this guy called Marvin, who is a Frenchman who has actually been on 3 dating shows in a row. He's not stuck with any of the loves of his lives that he's met. And I think he's won 2 of them. Or has he won one of them? I think he won 2. He went on French. What's the French one where they date?
I don't know. So he was in it for the cash, basically. The cash prize.
Yes, definitely. But the thing is, Marvin is
and the fame.
Gorgeous. Like, he is crazy hot. So it's like Melinda, the woman that he's getting with, actually starts to fall for a guy called Pete, and they kick Pete off the show. That's how produced it is. So it's like her and Marvin are forced into
Marvin Anthony.
Yeah.
Okay, right. He left with Melinda. Oh,
yeah, but now Melinda and
the pair have since split up, and Melinda claimed he has ghosted her after the show.
So they were supposed to meet in and where was it? Cuba or something? I'm making stuff up now. They were supposed to meet at a holiday destination. He got annoyed with her and just stopped. They just ceased communication. But to be honest,
Melinda is stunning.
But Melinda is like the star of the show, in my opinion. Melinda is that girl. Not only is she strikingly beautiful, but her personality is 11 out of 10. She literally has everything.
Oh my god! And this guy Pete, look at the hair. Oh,
Pete's kind of cute in a weird way. He's grown on me. But yeah, they literally were like, "We've changed the rules. Pete, you are going home."
Oh yeah, Pete is cute.
He's adorable. But her and Marvin are obviously like a Vogue cover couple.
Yeah.
So obviously they're going to want them to stay together. And it makes for a better story. It's like he got his redemption story. And then the other couple who came second, who everyone said should have won. But I disagree because I don't like Cam. I don't know him, by the way, guys. I don't.
Emily and Cam.
Yeah, I don't know this guy. I mean, his storyline didn't leave a good taste in my mouth, but everybody else loved it. I wasn't rooting for either of the guys, basically, because I was just like, you can't do all that and then win. I think the women who stayed with them should have won. Like, really, Melinda should have won because, like, she propped up Marvin, ran the show, and launched everyone else's career. And she, like, I just hate that that's her story. Like, she should have won. Anyway, sorry guys, I'm so sorry about this reality TV special from hell. Oh my god, yeah.
I don't even really watch reality TV anymore.
What? Okay, because there was a time where I genuinely, when I was younger, wouldn't have considered America's Next Top Model reality TV. I was like, it's a modeling show.
I agree with that. I wouldn't like reality TV. For me was a lot more like Big Brother and
yes. But it's not. It's like all competition shows are reality TV. X Factor reality TV. Pop Idol. Britain's Got Talent.
Things like what else? Like the Real World, stuff like that.
Yeah, same actually. Yeah, all the MTV shows, Jersey Shore, the party shows.
Yeah,
but even
The Hills.
Yes, Kardashians. Oh my god, Love and
The Simple Life. even though that was still about celebrities.
No, that was literally a scripted show. Like, I did not know.
Reality
it was
TV, yeah,
completely made up characters. Like, I was looking at the quotes again today because I'm sure we talked about that Paris Hilton documentary that I watched. Again, everyone watch. I love a behind the scenes. I love a behind the reality TV scenes show. Yeah, a believable one though. Some of them it's just like, again, this is so overproduced. I know this isn't your story, but sure, I'll take it. But Paris Hilton's is very genuine. I've seen a lot of good behind the scenes docs lately of people's lives. I've seen 3. I don't watch that many.
That is 3 more than me.
Janet Jackson's is good. If you're a Janet Jackson fan, you'll enjoy. Even if you're not, like, I love her. Okay, that makes no sense. Even if you're not a fan, I love her.
I still love her. So
no, I feel like you can't. Janet Jackson's one of those people you can't not be a fan, because what she's done is just. How much
to you?
I'm such a fan that I'm like, I don't see how you couldn't be.
Yeah, obviously she's just done so much.
She's just so brilliant that you couldn't.
What has she done? And you're like, what do you mean? I don't understand the question. So much. She's done so much.
Let's not do Janet like that. She is phenomenal. I mean, as an artist, her catalogue is on fire. Her videos. We all know where we were when Together Again was running these streets, okay? And she's had so many moments like that. That's the way. No, I'm not going to do it. But Janet Jackson is that girl. She's just amazing. And also, it's just interesting. I like the Kanye West one, as I've said. But again, was a huge fan of the music. And I like the Paris Hilton one, and I was never a fan. I just thought
the music, you loved the music, or just of her as a person?
Oh my god, as soon as she said that, the stars are blind coming to my head. I'm like, why do I listen to this? I am all these people that everyone talks about, like, why are they famous? It's me.
It's because of you, yeah. Feeding the machine. I'm clicking that link. Ooh.
Let me tell you, if Paris Hilton drops a song tomorrow, I'm but okay.
Yeah, straight to number 1, all because of Ruth's download.
Yeah, right. She wouldn't even get with my download.
All platforms.
I've actually found, and she's not new, but there's this singer I've been listening to. I'll send. I think she's our middle ground musically. I can't remember her name. I only started listening to her last week.
She is.
I literally, when I find somebody new, I don't engage with them at all. Like musicians, I think that's why it's easier.
I'll sit there. I'll leave that there. I'm not going to be too keen.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean, I'll find their music. I'll download it. I'll make maybe even a short playlist of all the songs that I like, and I'll listen to it. And then I'm like, who is this? Like, I don't even know your name.
See. You're like, this is so rude of me. I have like, oh my god, excuse me, we don't even know each other. Let me.
I'm like, I went on her Instagram the other day, and I was like, this feels like I'm spying on someone. I'm gonna get out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Her name is Rachel Chinorori. Oh my god, Chinorori. Sorry, I always do that with no sounds. Rachel Chinorori.
Okay.
And her music, guys, everybody go. And the weirdest thing is she's British, which always takes you by surprise. I'm like, there's talent here. She's fucking phenomenal. Name a genre, she can do it. Okay, maybe that's a bit far, but she does like a lot of like, you can tell she writes and produces everything. It's like ethereal, like guitar based, has like elements of like folk, some like
I like how this is our middle ground.
That is our middle ground.
I know, it's just funny.
It truly is.
Let me think of our middle ground. Something like folksy and ethereal.
Yeah,
maybe a bit literally elven. It could definitely be played at a Rivendell wedding.
And then there's also like house remixes that are phenomenal. So it's literally our middle ground. Party. Yeah, that's absolutely for our Friday night too many drinks. She's so good, guys. And then there's somebody else called, she's next to her because like all my recents are next to each other. This singer called Baby Storm, who is an American like alternative quirky girl. Again, like so fucking talented. It's so weird to think there's so many like genuinely good musicians that are just out there waiting. And then next to it is, do you remember that song by Lone Star, Amazed? I don't know how you do what you do. I'm so in love with you. It just keeps getting better.
I think I actually loathe that song.
Oh my God, that just should
Do
show
love
you.
It?
That song is an absolute classic ballad. I want to spend the rest of my life here by your side. It's like a real, like, I encourage everyone to Google Lone Star and see what they actually look like. I'm sorry, you have to.
Yeah, I'm doing
They
it
look
right now,
like
guys.
they
Live
voted
reaction.
for Donald Trump. So
That's cool, yeah. Lone Star Band. Well, oh my God, one of them's wearing a. Sorry, this is just ridiculous.
It's so funny. They look like extras from True Blood. Is that offensive? Probably.
They look like a group of
One of them looks like Matt Damon in 20 years.
That just got together to
to
be in a band.
And one of them has definitely, you know, the blonde guy, he definitely had a Tyra Next Top Model makeover.
100%.
Let's give him highlights and layers. It's very much giving Caucasian Southern church in America.
Yeah, but doing you dirty.
Oh, absolutely.
They're not upholding any of the
they're not Christian, really.
10 Commandments. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
They will use God when they want. They'll go to church every Sunday, of course. But
they're
they
definitely
are not
taking your tithes and offerings and just gambling and smoking.
Yeah,
and
they are not
cheating on their wife.
Not men of scripture.
Far from it.
Or are they exactly men of scripture?
I mean, all the bad ones, yeah.
Mm.
All the mistranslations, some would say. Anywho, who am I to critique the great book? Oh my God, I feel bad for saying that.
One guy is called Keach Rainwater.
That's not his real name. Unless he's Native American, that's not his real name.
Could be, yeah.
But who is it? The short guy. No shade to short people, love you guys. Genuinely. Tend to date short men.
Keach Rainwater. I mean,
the surname could be Native American, but the first name, I just know. I don't know.
He's the blonde one.
Oh my God, did he have? Is that why they gave him highlights? Has he had one of those racially ambiguous makeovers? Keach Rainwater.
There's no way.
He's a drummer.
Is he?
I'm sorry, but he's giving me Nordic vibes.
He absolutely is. Yeah, he's. Oh, well, maybe it's a. I don't know.
It could be a Scandi translation.
Or it's or he just made it up.
I'm on his Instagram. Guess how many followers he has?
We're so deep in this.
717.
Is that it? I thought you were going to say 1,000.
How can he be famous of
Keach Rainwater of Lone Star?
Why do I want to follow him and DM him?
Oh my God, why does that make me feel like a bit sad?
Oh, okay. He's interviewing a black person. I just assumed he was racist. I mean, he still might be, but he does give me strong racism vibes. I don't know. He has a good life.
I'm not surprised.
Oh my God, he's got some like lake shots wherever he lives. The lakes are gorgeous.
Why do you have this in a play? Is this in a playlist you have, or is it just like randomly generated?
No, recently added, because I started following this basketballer, Jimmy Butler, on Instagram. Obviously, because he looks good, not because of his skills. No shade. I don't know anything about basketball. And he posts some very controversial songs that he's listening to, which just sound very like country bumpkin, but he is from Texas, so that's his business. And it just, for some reason, it just made me want to listen to this song. And that's how algorithms work, kids. Oh, God. But it's so, if you could see like on my added this month, it's like Lone Star, a song by Dido, a song by
Which
Koji.
one?
Let's see. 10 Loveless Hearts, which I don't even remember listening to. That's what I'm saying. What was I going through in the moment this month where I needed to listen to this song that I do not recall?
I don't even know what that song is. And I used to
couldn't
like
tell
Dido.
you. But if I feel like if I listen to it, I'll be like, oh, that happens to me a lot. I'll immediately forget. And I'll be like, and then again, I'll be like, oh, what's this song? And it's just a continuous loop. Koji Radical, song by my brother. And then it's like Jigsy King Load It Back, which is like this like old dance hall song. And it's just like, it's really all over the place.
Really telling a lot about the kind of inner workings or the state of your mind.
All bad, none good. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God. Even this song that I added one time, listeners, I promise after this I'll stop because this is now just turning into just me talking shit as always. But I found this singer on a Bandcamp for some random reason. She had this Christian song and I Googled her and
I'm this Christian singer on Bandcamp.
Bandcamp is not where you'd normally find a Christian singer, by the way.
Yeah.
It's quite random. But
diversifying. She's getting a new demographic.
I Googled her and I found her like pre-Christian sing. Oh, my cousin said I was a horrible person when I told her this because I Googled her and it came up with this other song. I was like, oh, she was performing under another name before and she's got like a little cleavage in the picture.
Oh.
And I listened to it and it's like a really good song. So she was making like really good sexy music, but now she's rebranded as a Christian singer, which we all do in the end.
When we can't pull off heathen.
Oh my God, absolutely. I hope you look forward to my gospel.
There comes a time when every person just needs to button up.
Honey, you better put your pants back on.
You better put a bra on. You better get a nice pantsuit.
You need a husband. It's time for your Christian album. The thing is, we joke, but this is definitely going to happen to me at some stage.
This is the trajectory. Yeah.
I have some gospel songs, but I dare not ever release them because I just I'll get stoned.
Are they original songs? Original gospel songs?
Yeah, I've never recorded any of them. I even have one song where in my head it's like it's a gospel song, so I'd have to change it to be like not a gospel song. Because you don't understand. I was literally in church my entire life.
Yeah.
Like when I sing and stuff, even there's a song I have that's like, this is like quite bad to admit, but it's like quite a sexy song. But I'd had a few drinks and I'm not going to lie. Sometimes when I have a few drinks, I also listen to gospel music. So
you want to put a bit of God into the sexy song.
No, with the sexy song, basically what happened was I was listening to it when I'd been drinking. I was like, oh my God, this sounds like a Christian song. I realized. I was like, if you just change like a few lyrics, then I was like, oh my God,
if you swap out baby for God.
Honestly. Lord forgive.
Throwing a few lords in there. Me too.
Father forgive me. My favourite ad-lib of all time is Father
Give it to me.
I'm out. I'm done.
Sorry, forgive me. Oh my God, I'm going to hell.
Daddy forgive me. Oh my God. Await smite. Oh my God. But yeah. How did we get here? Anywho.
No. But here we are. And I think that this is Here We Shall Leave.
I love that at the end of every episode you're like, I'm sorry, but we've got
to stop this because I simply can't go on. Yeah, I'm sickening myself.
I hate this show, man. We need to cut this.
This is vile.
I wonder if one day when we when I have my gospel career, if we'll have to delete all these episodes from it.
Sometimes I worry about that. Well, can we ever scrub them? Are they ever
100%. Our listenership is so low. No one's going to be like, remember that podcast.
No, but it might be, if somebody needs to dig deep enough to throw some scandal onto a new gospel or maybe you'll like get super established, you really make a name for yourself, you're touring under this gospel like persona. Well, it's really you, but then there's somebody that just can't deal with the fame, they need to tear you down, then they really need to surface something.
Trust me, they don't need this podcast. They need
I'm that person.
Idea for a film.
Twist.
Natalie, you've done it again. That is brilliant.
What happened? Oh my god, what happened to the podcast that we fall out so much that when you become a major gospel superstar, I have to take you down, but you've scrubbed all the episodes, but I've become some master dark web hacker fixer extraordinaire.
Oh my god, love that for you.
Oh my god, thank you. I mean, I don't love it for me because of what it means for you.
I mean, I don't want to be with my Christian husband, so I already hate this for me. I love this for you.
Oh no, but then maybe you're thankful because in me doing that, it frees you from this marriage.
To quote Mary, take the shackles off my feet so I can I just want a host life.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to that man though.
Your future Christian husband. You didn't know what you were getting in for. To be honest, neither did you.
He was like, he's also damaged in ways and won't go to therapy, so just doesn't understand why he's attracted to me. I'm like, oh, I know. You love the chaos.
I also know about all the other women.
Oh, another plot twist. The least surprising plot twist. A plot twist nonetheless. I'm definitely marrying a G.
I'm sure if we all marry, if anybody marries, if I marry,
if anybody has the poor sense to wed us.
Well, yeah, let's just say we're not happy about it, but we don't accept it, but we do know. Let it be known that we do know what you're doing. And it's not
it's in the vows.
It's not right. It's neither right nor okay. But I guess you're going to do it anyway.
And hopefully you're rich and I can take half your wealth. Not that I'd ever get married to swindle somebody out of their fortune.
I'm presuming that part of the reason why you are wealthy, though, is in part because I've done my part. I've paid my dues.
Sing on it. now the church is really in session.
Now that is a song worth writing and singing.
Oh my god, we write a concept album about this thing we've never experienced. That'll be so good.
But yet we feel so bitter about. We're really drawing from some kind of lived experience here, but Lord knows what it is.
Honestly,
neither of us have been married.
It's 3 generations of trauma trapped in your body. You need to let it out.
And what better way than through a concept album? If you
a music.
The podcast didn't work, didn't get the traction, but something else might.
We are basically Tyra Banks. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
Oh, gosh, reality. I would never do reality TV. I couldn't handle it.
Absolutely not. Not going in that line, son. Anyway, like I said, like 20 minutes ago, this really is where we've got to go.
Pull the plug.
So see you next week, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Rewind the tape. Okay, that was really bad.